Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back again for another episode, and absolutely thrilled to have back one of my favorite people in podcasting, Jeff Dwoskin. Jeff from Social Stampede. First of all, welcome back.
Hey, how are you? Great to be back.
So you put out at some cadence a newsletter, and I frankly don't know if it's monthly, weekly, or what it may be, but the last one really struck my interest because you said every podcaster needs a Facebook strategy. So I thought that'd be a great excuse to contact you and see if you could come back on the pod. And of course, you said yes. So here we are.
I'll always say yes to you. Yeah, every creator needs a YouTube strategy. Yes, for
So
sure.
let's explore that. Let's explore maybe the differences from the creative side, obviously with a audio or video format. Do they complement each other? Are they really completely different? How do they integrate into your specialty at Stampede Social around Instagram and just all things Jeff on why I need a Facebook strategy?
YouTube.
YouTube, sorry.
You don't need a Facebook strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just cut that 30 seconds for Facebook and then that can be a whole episode. YouTube, I think what people get caught up on, especially podcasters with YouTube, is when they say video, they immediately assume that means a visual element, like what we're seeing, the two of us right here. And it can mean that. But YouTube in itself is a major search engine and discovery engine. So even if you just put the audio up with a static image so that it's still technically a video, it just has a single image and people listen to it, you're going to get people listening, and it's a way for people to discover your podcast and then potentially even then switch to another platform, introduce them to Apple Podcasts or anything like that, which also has no visual, right? It's just still audio. A lot of people listen and use YouTube, even though there's sometimes visual, they just listen. And so that's the thing. So you need to be there. I did switch to putting actual video, me talking head videos, I guess, about a year ago. I started doing that. But I have episodes that are just audio, some because I don't even have the video for them because they were maybe phoners, that have done tremendously well. And when I say tremendously well, that's always in context to who you are. I'm not Mr. Beast. So when I say tremendously, that could mean 1,000 listens, something like that. Pick up an extra 1,000 listens, which is a lot considering you add that to the podcast and you start to build up your social proof. You're not just about downloads. You can also be about listens. And here's the thing is one of my most popular YouTube videos I published months ago, and it still is cranking in tons of listens and views and all that kind of stuff. Interesting choice.
Yeah, let's see. I'm not quite sure what happened.
Too close.
Too close. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. And now I was going to say I have two metrics for you, but I think we may need to introduce why you need a strategy. But here's two metrics. And you came up with one of these metrics that I quote freely. But I'll start with the first one. And the first one was, in having this similar discussion with my wife, she said, nobody will watch you on a podcast on YouTube. And so we were with my daughter and her partner there, or Gen Zers. And my wife asked him, and she said, would you watch a YouTube video on television? And my wife's partner said, oh, we do it every Friday night. We get a bottle of wine, we invite friends over, and we watch YouTube interviews. And so that was a pretty powerful metric. But the other metric, this comes from you, and we have to put on your captain's hat for Yacht Rock, because as you pointed out, and I confirmed after I watched the documentary on it, video killed Yacht Rock. And if we ever need any past performance to show the power of video, I think MTV showed that. And I'm fully convinced you're right, number one. And number two, the other thing that intrigued me is I agree with everything you said up to this point, but let's move to the strategy part, because all of my interviews 99.99% are just like this. I'm doing with you, virtual one-on-one interviews. I have one roundtable podcast, so I'll have to carve that one out. But everything else is one or two people. And what's a strategy we can use on YouTube that might help us, or something that you've seen work or even heard about?
Just being there is strategy number one. I think that's the thing. And I'm glad you quoted me quoting the yacht rock thing, because I've said that to other people and they still push it off. And it's history does repeat itself. And just to summarize what it is, the stars of yacht rock, or really anyone at that time, the documentary just happened to be focused on yacht rock, but the stars that were huge, Christopher Cross was number one, winning Grammys left and right, but then didn't convert to video, didn't see this video revolution as something he needed to do. And everyone that felt that way disappeared. But again, it then gets down to the conversation of what are we defining as video? Just to me, it's not a video strategy. It's be on YouTube strategy. Just be on YouTube. Make sure your stuff is on YouTube. And so anyway, so that being said, and then you brought up an interesting point about the TV. I just looked up my stats real quick. Now keep in mind, I think I had in the last 20,000 views on YouTube, I had 23% of them were viewed on TV. No, and that's the number two. Mobile 45%, TV 23%, then computer 23%, and then tablet 8%. And the majority, my age range, the most is anywhere from 25 up, really, is what it is. So yeah, people do watch YouTube on TV a lot these days. So it's definitely interesting. So strategy number one is just be on there. I don't know how I feel about using the RSS feed connection with it. I tried that and it just dumped it in, and you don't really have control over some of the other features that they have. The thing I like about YouTube in general versus having it auto post from other platforms is that in YouTube you can set it up, and like I can set up today I set up the one that's going to go live on the 27th, or that's going to go live 2 weeks from now or whatever. And so when it goes live, it's live. If you use your the RSS or whatever, when it goes live, it starts the process of going live, meaning like uploading and all that kind of stuff. And you can't get really the tags in there and stuff like that. So SEO is a big part of the strategy with YouTube videos. A good title, a good thumbnail, a good chapters, having chapters, and then having a good description. There's tags, there's hashtags. So there's a lot. I can share with you. I do it all in ChatGPT. There's GPTs you can just search. I'm happy to share my public one for the one I use for show notes that I built. But it's so easy to do this, and it just cranks it out and you just paste it in. So there's a little more control you can do if you set it up directly in YouTube. So I'm a big fan of that. But the strategy number one is just believe that you need to be there. And shorts. YouTube Shorts is really a killer thing right now on my channel. And again, when I say my channel, I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm the podcaster like everyone else. You know what I mean? I feel like what I've achieved, anyone could achieve. So it's not out of reach. But what I found is with YouTube Shorts, they generate a lot more visibility. They can tie right to your long form video. So you create a short of this, and then it links to the full video. And from a follower point of view, I pick up so many followers with YouTube Shorts that it's crazy. And sometimes I do standalone shorts too that don't necessarily tie to my long form, just in theme of my channel, which is pop culture. I'm talking about my personal podcast channel. And so that's what it is. But like I said earlier, the longevity concept of it is what's huge, because it's a search engine. So people are always looking for things, and you can have something pop that just sat there for a long time, and then it can suddenly go your version of viral and just always pick up new followers and views, et cetera, et cetera.
Is there a metric that you find more important or most important on YouTube other than just being there?
You got to monitor and make sure people are looking at your stuff. It's views is a good, and reach and engagement are good things. There's an app called YouTube Studio, YT Studio, you can download, and it's amazing. It's an amazing app. And you need both that app and the YouTube app on your phone, because the YouTube app on your phone is the only way to change a thumbnail in a YouTube short. It's really, that's the only kind of weird thing about it. But yeah, you can monitor it. If no one's viewing your stuff, that's a problem. But the cool thing about algorithms nowadays is that you can put something up, have 50 followers on your YouTube channel, and still get 20,000 views on a short. You know, the algorithm is serving up to people based on interest now. I just was watching a whole, Gary Vee was just talking about this. And so you can get into the conversation, and follower count isn't as much of a, doesn't hold, follower count doesn't hold you back like it did in the past.
But we're still rocking and rolling.
Okay, cool.
So how about, you've said several times, one of the key things is to simply be on there because of the search function. How can that, being on part of that search function, really drive engagement to either your audio channels, or if you have a website or other social media posts can help in that way? Is it really the reels and shorts?
YouTube Shorts, yes. It was interesting. I was so obsessed with getting people to Apple or Spotify or Good Pods or what have you. But I started just being happy if they watched it on YouTube. You know what I mean? I think the mentality I had years ago of them watching it on YouTube and not counting on my RSS feed, I've moved away from that idea. And one of the things with Stampede Social where we've been evolving it is being able to, you can connect your YouTube. And that part of the reason I put the blog out was to get people thinking about YouTube, because we started to create some YouTube features for Stampede Social. And for any creator or podcaster, the ability to connect your YouTube post and to Stampede Social or your TikTok or your threads, and get all the post data from all that as well. And we're betaing on YouTube comment response, so that you can, in a video like this, you could say, oh, you want to learn more about Stampede Social, comment blah below, and then check your notifications, and there'll be a link in your notifications for you to find out more about X. And then that works on YouTube Shorts and on long form video. And so it's a way to extend the features of Stampede Social, the comment below, get an auto DM on Instagram, and then have that automatically work on YouTube as well to drive people to your Patreons, to your Apple, whatever it might be. So that was one of the reasons I started blogging about YouTube, is prepping for the beta rollout of these new features.
So how does, if you were sitting down and explaining to a newbie, Jeff, how do you explain all of this in the social media marketing or social media creation ecosystem, where each asset has its own place it sits, yet it supports the entire system?
When you're a creator, you're not just one thing, right? You've got your blog, you got your this, you got your mailing list. So you've got your various social medias. From a podcaster point of view, you're like, oh, you only get 5,000 downloads. Okay, we'll judge you based solely on that. The fact that you have 100,000 followers on Twitter doesn't mean anything to us, or on Instagram or YouTube, or that number combined, or even 50,000 combined, or 10,000, or another 5,000. So we as creators just have said, oh, that's okay. I guess that's the way it is. And it doesn't need to be that way. So, especially with a lot of people who look for sponsors on their own and don't go the route of just counting on someone because they're not big enough to hand them ad deals. So, your full social strength is your superpower. That is downloads on your podcast. That's how many people are on your mailing list. That's what kind of reach and engagement do you get on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And frankly, it doesn't matter if your YouTube's weaker than your YouTube. It doesn't matter. You put them all together. If you're leveraging all those to get information out to people, then that's your value. That's what you're bringing. It's not just necessarily one thing. We're not all a Mr. Beast that has a billion people on YouTube and he can push that. He probably has a lot on other platforms as well. But if we're smaller creators, independent creators, we need to leverage and believe in the power and strength of all of our combined reach and engagement, and not just judge ourselves or allow others to judge ourselves just on one channel. We're more than one channel. We spread the information across. We're the creators and we make it available on multiple channels.
Jeff, that's one of the best explanations I think I've ever heard. Well done.
Thanks.
So what about maybe tying a couple of these together? For instance, I blog every day and I put out white papers on a regular basis, and I have several books going on at the same time. Can you pair a writing strategy with a YouTube strategy so that they complement each other?
I suppose you could. You can drive book sales from YouTube. You can use your book, put QR codes to help drive to various things or supplemental data. If you have a chapter in a book about something and you have a whole episode on it, you can put a QR code in there and just say, hey, scan this, and we can take you to that content. So there's ways that you can crisscross platforms and concepts to help leverage all the different social media platforms that you might have.
Jeff, I think you're way underselling your services. You need to expand out to this entire ecosystem that you've articulated and help people understand what you understand. This is great stuff.
Thank you. Yes, my superpower is undervaluing
your service offerings.
Yes. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Let's go back to the beginning, which is get on YouTube, because it all really flows from there. And maybe we can end with the two metrics I started with, which are Gen Zers are on YouTube, period. And when I hear people, now let me put it in context. When Saturday Night Live came out, I was in college. And we would think, in fact, we didn't think nothing. We spent every Saturday at a bar, which had a big screen TV back then, drinking, eating nachos, and watching Saturday Night Live. So to think that people won't collectively get around and watch visual entertainment, I think is probably short-sighted on my part for not to even think of it. But if there's a generation of people that are interested enough to get together on a Friday night to watch YouTube videos, particularly interviews, I think that tells us something. And then back to yacht rock. When Kenny Loggins says MTV killed yacht rock, we have to listen to that because he's a voice that was successful before or during yacht. He was successful before yacht rock. He was very successful during it, and he was even successful after it because he switched strategies. But I think your Christopher Cross example, he wasn't just big. He was the first time 5 Grammy winner ever, and that was it. He peaked out there. Now there are lots of other reasons, but you're absolutely right. He never developed a video music strategy, and I think that's where history is going to take us in podcasting.
If you were going to start anywhere, just basic, if you don't have video like this that you want to put out, you just have audio, I would create a nice thumbnail. YouTube now has a really cool feature where they just rolled this out, where you can put 3 thumbnails and 3 titles, and it will mix and match, and it'll figure out which combination is the best to drive. A great description. YouTube chapters is a must. Do not let it make the chapters for you. Make the chapters yourself. You can find a GPT that does that for you. You just pop in the audio file for your video and it'll make it for you. It'll give you the hash. You can get all hashtags, tags, that kind of stuff from it. Max all that stuff out and let it go. And just see where that takes you. So that's the best place to start, is to just be there so people can find you. The show notes are important. You can put links to all your things in there as well. That's how you get found. It's the SEO strategy. There's a trends.google URL that you can look at, and then you can look at it via your niche, and you can see what's trending, and you could make quick YouTube shorts that ride the trend. We call that trend jacking, but it's totally cool. And it's what people do. If something's hot and you have a take on it, don't be disingenuous and just ride trends because they happen to be trending. But if it's something you have knowledge or interest or a passion for, you can create a video for that and do that. My example of that is when celebrities pass away, I make a quick tribute video and put it on. That's one thing. That's some standalone things that I do, but that's relevant for my channel. But yeah, it's a discovery engine. Eventually, this will help lead you to getting everything you need to be monetized on YouTube. That can take some time, but it's worth putting that in. And but massive reach and discoverability. That's what it's all about. That's what YouTube's all about. Can't just rely on Apple and Spotify. These, especially even independent podcaster, all of these apps seem to favor the already people doing extremely well. They can probably do well without any help, the big names and stuff like that. Us indie podcasters need to just slug it out a little bit more, but this is a great opportunity. If you have something that you put up, and I'll credit Mark Savant for giving me this tip, he posted it, is if you can change a thumbnail or a title of a YouTube thing, a YouTube video once it's posted, and that can give it new life. So you can adjust it. So can't really do that on TikTok, but you can do that on YouTube. So you can make adjustments along the way or add a different thumbnail if you need a better thumbnail. Some of this stuff is not locked in place. So, it's definitely worth exploring and making it part of your strategy. Plus YouTube Shorts, you can repurpose on that same format. Works on Instagram Reels, works on TikTok. You can drop it on Blue Sky, Threads. So it's not like it's a effort for just one platform. I've got things that blow up on TikTok that don't do well on YouTube and vice versa. Frustrating. That's the game we play.
Jeff, as always, I learn a ton when I talk to you. Thanks for doing this with me today. I look forward to continuing this conversation.
Tom Fox, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure.